we want to make some kale powder. So we're gonna freeze dry some kale. When it's dry, we're gonna crush it up and make it into like a nutrient powder for smoothies or just whatever. We put this wax paper over the top to keep it from being up too high and sticking to the tops of the compartments. Also to keep it from sticking to the bottom of the tray when we're trying to freeze them. I think the compartments, I think this is short enough that I think it's okay in the compartment. I don't think we need the wax paper in there. This one looks good. There we go. Now we just need 24, 48 hours, somewhere in there to take all the moisture out. This is the drain bucket. I look forward to seeing how much water will come out of this little bit of greens. You wouldn't think that much water comes out of some things, but later when we look in the bucket, it surprises us. Caleb and I are back on his house. Last time we got 5 trusses up there. Hopefully we can get the whole rest of this part of the building done today as far as trusses. We're getting serious today. We're getting a lot done. We got several trusses in. We're hoping we can get a lot more.
Hey, your dad, check it. Tarzan of the construction site.
Yeah, we're getting real serious here. Putting some 2x4s in the attic for braces, and they'll be permanent. These on the roof up here are temporary until later when we put plywood on. It holds all the trusses square.
I finished harvesting all my kale. This is dinosaur kale. This is not kale. This is my first harvest of carrots. I've never grown a carrot in my life. I'm very excited. There's a bunch more out there, but that's enough for dinner. And this kale, I think we're going to freeze dry and make kale powder. And now I have an open bed so that I can plant sweet potatoes or tomatoes, or I need to start sowing some seeds too. I have to figure all that out, but we are hot and heavy in growing season, and I just also found out my cabbages are not heading because they've not had enough water. So now I have to harvest all the leaves, figure out what to do with them. So I can saute them. I've already sent out a message to Susan Todd to send me Aunt Pat's cabbage roll recipe and anything else that one might do with cabbage. So I'll be doing that today or tomorrow. Also, planting and harvesting. It smells really good. It smells really good. Ta-da. So we are putting up cattle panels for all of our vegetables that climb. And Todd is putting in the T-posts to hold them up. It is unbelievably hot today, and 2 nights ago it was so cold. I think the frost, well, I guess it wasn't a frost, but I think the cold weather burned some of my plants. So this weather is very unpredictable. Thank you, honey.
So these little wire clips are what holds it on there. We had to figure them out. We've never seen these before, and so they're kind of weird and crazy, and we assume we're putting them on right. I don't see how there could be more than one way to put them on. But you hook one side and then you hook the other side. One side's got a lot longer hook on it to make it so you can move around with it. Like Cindy said, it looks like the weather damaged our cucumbers, but they're not dead, so I think they'll keep on coming. If we look at the leaf right in the middle, it looks nice and healthy, so I think they're adjusting. There have been 3 major volcanoes in the world that are going to be, the debris expelled is going to be affecting the weather across the whole planet for at least a year. I'm not sure if that's why we got our cold snap, but I know that in Europe they are having cold snaps and snow and ice after they thought they were moving towards summer. Okay, this thing is done enough that we can go ahead and start using it. I got the lid on the egg boxes. I'm not going to put any siding on here yet. We'll see how it does without it. So now you can open that up and get your eggs. It rubs the other roof, but I don't think that's any kind of problem. Same thing on the other side, except I decided to waste less material by just using a long piece. So then the water will just go off sideways on this. I made a clasp. Just kind of made something with various parts that I had laying around. So that just hooks to this eye right here. And holds the door open. I don't think the chickens are even going to need a ramp on this. I think they'll just hop right up in there. I should be able to lift it one-handed and move it around. So there we go. I think I could roll this thing full of chickens. Well, I'm sure I could. Get better when things match, but I took my extra metal that I had left over from building the Rickshaw and this little bit of black that I had left from some of these other roofs, and went ahead and put metal on the old chicken coop, the first chicken coop we made here a couple of years ago. I'm just concerned it's going to fall apart if it's not getting enough protection from the weather. So instead of piling all my metal up somewhere, I said, oh, well, there's a place where I need to use it. Pulling out the kale. Let's take a look at it. It definitely shrunk up. You can see the sides of the tray are not as full as they were. Pretty cool. Let's see if they're... Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's just gonna crush into a powder like really easy. It's like putting a kale chip in my mouth. It's like dried leaves in the fall, and it's actually hard to pick them up and put them in the bag unless you just do it one or two at a time, which would take forever. So I realized that I can just crush them up in the tray, and then I can scoop them in there a lot easier. Here's how much water came out of those leaves. It looks like it's more mass than what the leaves were that went into the freeze dryer. Amazing. The Rhode Island Reds are enjoying their home. They spent the night last night here. We think they did lay some eggs in the boxes, but we see some yolk on the floor. We think they rolled out of the boxes and hit the floor. I had forgotten to finish up by putting this little catch at the front of all the boxes, so I just put that in now. This egg was outside on the grass, so I just stuck it in the box.